Okay, we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, the role of interest groups in politics or the political process. A political party's goal is to get candidates elected into office. So the Democrats and the Republicans are looking to win the presidency, looking to win governor, state or federal, Congress, senators, House members. But within these parties are a lot of different interests, a lot of different groups with different goals. And those interests and those with their different goals sometimes match up. And sometimes you might agree with one interest or one idea and not the other. But they're all a coalition, all working together in the political party to get someone elected who will pursue their goals. Uh, Interest groups are not running people for office, even though they do support political candidates. They don't have because we're a two-party system. They find themselves picking a side often. Many of the business ones, the ones that you and I don't really pay attention to, might actually give their money and their efforts to both parties. But many that you and I are aware of pick a side. So interest groups, they're not hobbies. This isn't getting together and let's just hang out and talk. They are motivated. They have a goal. And again, that goal is to influence politics. So what do? They first and foremost organize members. So you might be a paying member. You might be non-paying, but you get all their literature. You might join them in meetings. You might just give them $25 a year to be a member. Lots of different ways of being a member. Or you might not be a member at all. But with that membership, with these members or people who support them, even if they're not members, they look to support candidates for office. So maybe you support candidates for office, not a political party. The political party is the member. A Republican might be running, and then the NRA, National Rifle Association, will make sure its members support the candidate. To vote for that candidate, or also to campaign. You might campaign for a candidate. Okay, but that's not it. That's just the beginning. They also lobby. Now, lobbying is a big deal. What is lobbying? That's meeting with legislatures. In other words, they go to Congress or to Lansing, there's lobbyists in Lansing, and they talk to the people who are writing law to either stop a law, please don't vote for this law, or to get a law passed. And that is what lobbying is, and it's a big deal. It's going to your Senator Gary Peters or Stabenow or Bill Huizenga and saying, hey, we don't support this bill. We support you, don't support this bill, because it works together. We're supporting you. We don't want you to support this. Often, usually, they agree, because if you support a candidate, you support a candidate that already agrees with you. And if they win office, they're going to probably listen to you as an interest group. They, more specifically, they actually help write laws, write bills, which can become law. So lobbyists will actually write bills for legislatures. Some people don't like this. Some people do like it. It's an opinion. They obviously will support or oppose legislation, that's law, or bills, which is up here. And then they obviously meet with legislatures too. Okay, and to talk about these ideas. Okay, what else do? They raise money. Have to raise money. And they call that a PAC, Political Action Committee. So you might get a mailer, please support us. And that money can go from, they'll come often from their members. Now remember, you can give money to an interest group and not actually join the group. Perfectly fine. The raising money PAC, the money goes to candidates. Which is back here, that's supporting candidates. Political ads. And advertisement of some sort. We're not going to go there. No. Finally, not finally, maybe, go public. What if you're a member, or what if you're an interest group that is worried that people aren't happy with you? Not all interest groups are groups that you and I can be members of. We can be members of the National Rifle Association. We can be members of the environmentalist group, the Sierra Club. Many of us can be members of labor unions. But there are other interest groups that are for groups that we're not members of. For example, the oil industry, the Institute for Petroleum Oil Institute, something like that. That group is not a group you're going to join and campaign for. That's the oil and fracking industry, and they have their own interest group. Another one is pharmaceuticals, drug companies that make prescription drugs. You or I are not going to join that group, but they have an vested interest in legislation, so they support candidates, but they also, when they're feeling that they're being, that they have a bad reputation, they can have advertisements. So they advertise to us, so the oil industry advertises, the prescription drug company advertises, the corn fructose syrup interest groups advertise. It's not to sell you products. It's to get you to see them more positive, see them in a positive light. So they're advertising for their issue, not product. They're not selling you gasoline. They're selling you the idea that they're not the bad guys. Usually that's what it comes down to. And there's plenty of commercials that will give you examples of this. And then finally, lawsuits. These sue the government, sue others. A good example of who uses lawsuits, the NAACP sued for Brown v. Board. So Brown v. Board in segregation in school was an interest group lawsuit. The environmental, there's a lot of lawsuits. I don't know if I want to say a lot, but environment lawsuits. So there are groups that will sue, and that is the strategy of interest groups. So there are the notes. We'll talk about the rest in class.